What's up and welcome to FPL Today. I'm your host JNO. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to another video, even though it's after 30 days of FPL. Shall we call it 31 days of FPL? Doesn't have the same ring to it. Today you should have already had the FPL Q&A, but we've got another video for you today, and it's looking back at my team. I plan to once a week look at my team before the game week starts, so you guys can see what I'm doing, and hopefully I won't change it just before the deadline hits, because right now it's so tempting to change everything. However, I will say that I'm usually someone who makes their transfers very late in the game week, purely because I like to try and see if I can see anything in the press conferences before I make my moves. That being said, we're looking at my team right now, which I've had a whole month to stress over, and some of you are going to like it, some of you aren't. I've deliberately tried to take advantage of teams' fixtures and get players I think could be in form and have attacking potential. As you can see to the side of me, the team is right in front of you. The bench is pretty weak, but that's on purpose, because this team is my attempt at optimising the first 3 game weeks before I use my wildcard. But before we get into details about the players I've picked, if you love FPL content in your subscription box and you need someone to walk you through the entire Fantasy Premier League 2017-2018 season, then consider subscribing to the channel. We've just completed 30 days of FPL and we're still pumping out content daily on this channel. So let's start off with the goalkeepers, and nothing has changed. I've stuck with Foster and Myhill. I did consider changing because of West Brom's poor pre-season form, but having looked at the fixtures, looked who have got easy fixtures to start off with, I felt like I needed West Brom cover just in case they do have a good start to the season and get some defensive returns, otherwise I'd feel like an idiot. So we've kept Foster in goal because he's one of the cheapest options in the West Brom defence, and if West Brom do pick up clean sheets, I'm going to get him as well. We then move on to my defence, and as you can see there are a few changes here. My starting defenders will most likely be Cedric, Bailly and Daniels each game week, although Mariappa, if he starts and Watford have a good fixture, or Hefele, I think that's how you say it, from Huddersfield will also get starts if I think the fixture list is kind to him, and Huddersfield have a decent start to the season, which is why he's in there. I feel like this covers me for Southampton and Man United, the teams I feel like could get clean sheets early on in the season, and I just couldn't go with Lindelof after having watched him in pre-season and not being convinced by his performances. So we've gone with Eric Bailly, who I'm pretty confident will be in that starting lineup for Manchester United. I'm taking a gamble on Cedric playing. He did play the last pre-season game for Southampton before the season kicks off, and I'm gambling on Daniels starting as well. So there's quite a lot of gambling here in the defence, but if it pays off, I'm hoping it'll pay off really well. Moving on to the midfielders, and I feel like I've got quite a powerful but cheap midfield with De Bruyne and Salah as my heavy hitters. De Bruyne at Man City, I think he's the most nailed on midfielder. I also think he is going to get assists for that team all over the place, and Mohamed Salah has had a great start and is 0.5 million cheaper than Sadio Mane, which is why I've gone with him. I'm hoping those two can get some big points for me. I do feel a bit weird not having the likes of Dele Alli and Alexis Sanchez there, but that's just because I was so used to having them last season. And then I feel like the two other midfielders are quite strong despite their cheaper price in general, with Wilfried Zaha and Crystal Palace having a favourable start to the season, and Nathan Redmond we all know about Southampton, and I'm pretty confident he will start, and I didn't want to take the risk with a Southampton striker. And then we have Tom Carroll as the 5th midfielder, and you know what? I think he could be a big player this season, because from what I've seen of pre-season, he's now on set pieces, and the team has remodelled themselves with the idea of Gylfi Sigurdsson moving on, so Swansea could surprise a few people. And then we go with the lineup, and we have Lukaku and Kane as the heavy hitters up front, with Jay Rodriguez as my cheap 3rd striker. If I feel like Tom Carroll has a better fixture, he may come in for Jay Rodriguez. He has looked good over pre-season, one of the few highlights from West Brom's pre-season to be fair, and I'm hoping he can revitalise his career at West Brom. And again, West Brom have a decent start to the season, so if they do actually improve on their pre-season form and for some strange reason have a great start to the season, I can take advantage of that with Jay Rodriguez in my side. I've noticed some people saying if you've got Jay Rodriguez in your side, what are you doing? But I feel like he definitely could have a great season, and I like to have my 3rd striker as a very cheap option, like last year with Llorente or someone like that. I don't like spending too much money on the 3rd striker and going with 2 heavy hitters like Lukaku and Harry Kane. Anyway guys, thank you so much for tuning into this video. As always, that is my team for game week 1, unless I make a change right after this video. However, if you've enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, hit the notification bell. We should be going live tonight with something a little bit special for you guys. If you want to support the channel in any way, check out the links in the description down below. I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, Game Week 1's just around the corner.